In this episode of Pop Culture Weekly, it's all about the new action film Protector with Milla Jovovich. Let's go!
Welcome to Pop Culture Weekly with Kyle McMahon from iHeartRadio. Your pop culture news, views, reviews, and celebrity interviews on all the movies, TV, music, and pop culture you crave weekly. Here's Kyle McMahon.
Hello and welcome to Pop Culture Weekly with Kyle McMahon. I, of course, am Kyle McMahon, and you're here where we celebrate pop culture, question our life choices, and, occasionally get to talk people who have saved the world on screen more times than most governments. Today, we're talking about a brand new action thriller called Protector, starring the one and only Milla Jovovich. And you know her. She's battled zombies, she's saved humanity multiple times, and she's probably spent more time doing action scenes in slow motion than anyone in cinematic history. And today, she's back in Protector, and we are going to talk about it. But first, if you want even more interviews, deep dives, and pop culture breakdowns, and even album reacts, head on over to the Pop Culture Weekly YouTube channel and hit subscribe there too. A lot of fun stuff coming up there. The links are in the description. All right, so let's talk about Protector. Protector is a new action thriller that centers on a highly skilled protector. He was a former soldier, someone whose job is exactly what it sounds like. And let's just say survival is not always guaranteed. And in this film, she comes out of retirement to protect her daughter. And honestly, if there's one actor who has proven over the years that she can convincingly survive literally like anything on screen, it's Milla Jovovich. I mean, think about it. Between the Resident Evil films, sci-fi epics, action thrillers, fantasy adventures, she really has built a career playing characters who are smart and tough and usually the last person standing when everything else goes sideways. And in Protector, she's bringing that same intensity, that same physicality, but with a character that's a little more grounded and a story that's a little more personal. Protector mixes action, suspense, and really character-driven storytelling, which is the sweet spot, I think, for this kind of movie, because you want the adrenaline and you want the stakes, but you also want someone at the center of it that you care about. And that's something Milla Jovovich has always been really good at bringing to the screen. So when I had the chance to sit down with her to talk about Protector, I jumped at it. So without further ado, here she is, Milla Jovovich.
Thank you so much, Milla, for joining me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Kyle.
So first of all, congrats on Protector. I really do love it. And I wonder, you've built one of the most recognizable careers, especially, I would say, or particularly in action, over, the last 25 years. When you read the script for Protector, what made you say, this is something I haven't done before that I want to tackle?
For me, what was really amazing was I got a chance to take on a real producer's hat and be able to have a part in kind of not just rewriting the script, but taking the essence of it and making it very cohesive as a movie. To be able to be a part of the editing process, the scoring, the color grading, all of that post-production was so eye-opening, and also gave me like a real sense of empowerment. I think as an actor, to be able to have so much control over something is so novel, because you do a movie and in the end what happens with it is really not up to you. So to be able to like have control over this film in all these different ways to make sure that the performance that I loved the most from myself, from other actors, was in there, was so important, and really how much uh, the editing, the scoring, the color grading, how much it changes from what you originally filmed, and reminded me of a lot of movies that I had made where I kind of wondered, like, why did they use that take? Why weren't they on me for that line? So here I got to really take control, and the last year has been just editing the film and scoring it and color grading it, and it was a big it was a big project for me, because not only, did it take a lot out of me action-wise, there's really no visual effects in this movie. It really goes back to, like, real old-fashioned filmmaking where, the actors are doing the stunts, the practical effects are there. I mean, it's wonderful to kinda go back to those roots and to those basics and make a great movie.
I love that you say that because that's one of the things that I loved about it is, I'm of course will fanboy out over a big budget spectacle, but I love that this movie Protector helps remind us that you can have a great story with action, with great performances, with heart and practical effects. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this it was really important because, we were working so hard. I mean, it was over 3 weeks of night shoots, 6-day weeks. It took a lot out of everybody, but in the end, the crew was so, wonderful, and everybody was so into it, and just getting it done, and, paying attention, and really making sure that, obviously that everyone was safe, but at the same time that we got what we needed from it. And I mean, it was some of the most difficult stunts I've ever done, and especially the schedule was something that I'd never experienced before. Shooting at that speed, and really wanting to make sure that we got what we needed was number one. So it was a lot of hard work, but so satisfying.
Beyond the action of the character, what do you see as her emotional core?
Um, you know, I think for me, Nikki's emotional core is the fact that she's got a lot of guilt. And I think every mother can relate to that, is the guilt of raising a child, but also, who am I as a human outside of just being a mother? And I think, Nikki being in the military for so long, and sort of neglecting her family life, even for the best reasons, where you can sort of validate it and justify it, no matter what, as women and mothers, every day is a struggle between, am I doing enough for my kids? And am I still, you know, just me through it all? And balancing that is so difficult. And so I think definitely her love of her family, but also, her love of what she does, and her incredible abilities that helped her in the military, and what she believed was helping protect her country. It's hard to just leave that and become a parent. It's a big choice, and I think that sort of conundrum, I think most women can relate to, is like, I'm really good at what I do, and but I'm also a parent that has to be there, and how do you balance that? It's difficult.
Mm. And, speaking of, women, not just in film and in careers, but do you think that Hollywood still struggles with writing complex women in action films like that actually treats them uh treats them with the reverence they deserve and not some kind of archetype? Or do you think we're past that now?
I think, I think it's it's a difficult time for women right now, on many levels. Not just in film. Uh, I think female rights in general have a long way to go. And, I think definitely in the last 25 years since I first started, I think women have played a much bigger role in action, in cinema in general, with respect and getting paid equally. And, we've come a long way, but we've got a long way to go too.
Thank you, Mila, and you have been trailblazing that way, so I thank you for that. I can't wait for everybody to see Protector. Thank you. It was so great
Awesome.
talking to you.
Thank you so much.
Milla Jovovich. Honestly, one of the things I should say that I really love about talking with actors like her is you really do get a sense of how much work goes into making these kinds of films, especially with her doing so much action, the training and stunts, the character work, like all of it. And she continues to be one of the best action stars working today. So if you want to check out Protector, it is out right now in theaters or streaming or physical, depending, I guess, on when you're listening to this. So go do it if you love a good action movie. And if you enjoyed this interview, make sure you're subscribed to Pop Culture Weekly so you never miss an episode. I've always got more celebrity interviews, deep dives, movie and TV discussions, always up my sleeve. And you can also watch interviews just like the one with Milla Jovovich on the Pop Culture Weekly YouTube channel. So make sure you do that. Thanks for hanging out with me. And remember, if Hollywood has taught us anything, I would say it's this. When the world is in danger and governments panic and scientists are arguing, eventually someone will say, has anyone called Milla Jovovich yet? Thanks for listening. I love you. See you next week. We out.
Thank you for listening to Pop Culture Weekly. Hear all the latest at popcultureweekly.com.
I want to be protected by Milla Jovovich. I want to be protected by Milla Jovovich.